Good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful day here, and I am going to be heading out. Because our church is having their Sunday morning service outside, and then afterwards we are going to be cooking hot dogs and hamburgers, and everybody's going to be bringing a dish to share, and so it's going to be a really good time. But yeah, I promised a friend of mine that I would meet her at a couple stores to see what kind of buys we could get, and because yeah, we're going to need quite a few hot dogs and hamburgers, don't you think? Anyways, I'm going to be off doing that, and I will talk to you in a little while. Have you ever needed something like really quick, really easy, and no time at all in order to make something for dinner, or to come up with something that would just be really easy for your family that they can just put in or take out of the oven? Well, that's what I'm going to do today. And all I'm going to use is 3 chicken thighs, some potatoes, some of my cowboy seasoning mix, but you can use any of your favorite spices, and some butter and some parsley and an onion. That's all I'm going to use, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Here I just have a plain baking dish that I have coated with some coconut oil. If I would have had any more of the spray left, I would have used that. I just forgot to buy it when I went to the store recently. So I'm just going to take some potatoes, and actually I'm going to take some of my potatoes that are a little bit on the old side, the ones that I probably wouldn't want to use for baking. And I am just going to slice them. Not real thin, maybe about 1/4 of an inch, and place them in my pan. And I will just continue doing that until I have all my potatoes cut and in my pan. So now that I have all my potatoes down in this baking dish, I'm just going to sprinkle some of my parsley that I have dehydrated. And I'm going to put a few pats of butter down. And then I am going to take some sliced onion, a sweet onion. It should be a sweet onion. This happens to be a Vidalia onion. And if you don't like onions, don't put onions in. That's fine too. And then what we are going to do next is we're going to set our chicken on top. Now this chicken, I happen to be using thighs. Hey, if you got drumsticks, if you have chicken breasts, if you have whole legs, that's fine too. Just set these down on top like so, and then I'm going to take my cowboy spice mix that I made, and I'm going to sprinkle that on top of my chicken. And again, you can use whatever spice mix you have. And if you don't have a spice mix, that's fine too. Use a little bit of paprika, a little bit of chili powder, whatever spice that you happen to like is all you're going to need to put on that. And then you put this in a 425-degree oven and you cook it. It will take about 45 to 55 minutes depending on your oven. It will be done and it will be delicious. And one of the best things about this dish is that you can put some foil on this, you can stick it in the refrigerator, and then you can cook it the next day for dinner. But do keep in mind, if it's cold from the refrigerator, it is going to take longer to cook. But yeah, easy, simple, and all those wonderful meat juices go down into the potatoes and just make everything taste wonderful. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you in just a little while. And here is our dinner. So all we have to do is take out a chicken leg, take out some of the potatoes, and the onions. And we have a very delicious meal. Today's verse is found in Matthew chapter 22, verse 14. For many are called, but few are chosen. You know, when it comes down to trust, we have to ask ourselves, are we trusting in Jesus? Because we must trust that Jesus is who he says he is, and that he died on the cross for our sins, making us right with God. Many years ago, my dad told a story about trust. The story was about a man that had strung a tightrope across Niagara Falls and printed in the local newspaper that he would walk across the falls with a wheelbarrow full of rocks. The day came and there was a crowd completely excited about the event. And this man with his wheelbarrow asked the crowd, "How many of you believe that I can make it across the tightrope and back?" The crowd cheered loudly, and they all said, "We believe you can do it." The man, with patience of steel, made it to the other side and back with the wheelbarrow full of rocks, and the crowd thundered with cheers. The man then asked the crowd full of people how many believe he could push a man or a woman in the wheelbarrow across Niagara Falls and back. The crowd got even more excited and cheered him on to take a person across Niagara Falls. Then the man asked for a volunteer. Surprisingly, no one volunteered. Although many believed he could do it, no one volunteered to sit in his wheelbarrow. And many of the people thought he was crazy to even ask them to get in the wheelbarrow. You know, it's easy for people to say that they believe in Christ, but few are willing to choose to get in his wheelbarrow. This is what Christ asks of you and of me: to trust him, to rely on him, to submit, and to depend on Jesus. So with that, I want to remind you, life happens. Let's enjoy it. And the word believe in the Bible is more accurately translated to trust and to rely on. God bless, and I will talk to you tomorrow.